Here it is. It's my birthday. So there's one video this week and it's a banger. These are my favorite ryes. So I'm going to try all of them. Stay tuned after the break and we'll talk about it. Okay, so I have all four of these ryes here put into Glenn's, letter on the bottom. Here's the ryes that we've got. So this is Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye. It is a Barrel House 6. It comes in at 134 proof. Next to it's the Parker's Heritage Rye, 10 years, 128.8 proof. Simply phenomenal. This tall boy right here is the Ever North Exodus Rye 2, Sagamore sourced and 130 proof. And then finally, the newest edition. This is the President's Choice Rye. It is barrel 13 and comes in at 125.2 proof. So we've got roughly a 10-point proof swing. It might make a little bit of difference. It might not. I will say that President's Choice, at least on fresh crack, drank a little bit hotter than I would have expected. So I think they're going to level out somewhere in the middle. But it is also 10 years, 4 months, whereas the Jack Daniel's is younger. So is age or proof going to be the deciding factor in this? I don't know. The only winner here is me because these are my favorite ryes. So let's get into it. Let's just kind of mix them up a little bit again. I have done that twice now, but just kind of shell gaming it a little bit. We're going to start with my left. I'm going to call this glass A. Not sure what letter it is. We're going to find out. Here goes. Cheers. A lot of like powdered sugar sweetness, kind of almost like cake icing. Has a little bit of donut on it, like a powdered sugar donut. Does not smell like it's a whole lot of proof. There is a little bit there. I'm not going to try and guess proofs because these are all pretty close. Also, they vary wildly on the nose as to what they proof as. A little bit of oak, a little bit of maybe cherry. I think powdered sugar donut is really the note that I'm getting here, on the nose at least. It smells phenomenal, deeply complex, very rich, very decadent. Let's see what it tastes like. Cheers. Oh, wow. It is a cherry turnover on the palate. It's got cherry. It's got like powdered sugar, baked good kind of thing going on. Very deeply sweet, but also like oaky on the back end. Doing this for my birthday. This one is phenomenal. I have a little tiny sip left. Interested to see how this stands up to the rest of them. As I said, none of these are going to be bad. These are all my favorite ryes. I think it's going to be top 50%, but we haven't done the blind yet, so we'll find out. Wow. So good. Cleanse with some water. On to glass B. Let's see what it smells like. This one's a little bit more dull on the nose. Getting some like brown sugar caramel sweetness. A little bit of nuttiness behind that. Even when you breathe deep, there's not a whole lot of proof on this. Definitely some oak on there. A little bit of powdered sugar. Smells phenomenal. Let's see what it tastes like. That's a little bit more traditionally rye. Like I get a lot of rye spice forward. Definitely some nuttiness, a little bit of like caramel on the palate. On the finish, it's like maybe a little bit of like maple nuttiness and then some oak. Doesn't necessarily have the oak that I would expect, but it is tasty. I think this one doesn't necessarily have the complexity that I would have expected from either of the 10 years. The Evernorth is 6 year. It is also Sagamore sourced. I don't know that this tastes like Sagamore. So maybe it's one of the younger ones. Not really sure. Gonna finish it off. We're gonna move to glass 3, and we'll get to our rankings and revealings after that. All right, moving on to glass C. This one's got kind of a sawdusty thing going on. Like it's sawdusty oak, a little bit of leather, maybe a little bit of like cherry fruit behind that. Not traditionally very rye-esque. A little bit of fruit notes, a little bit of like rye spice in there. Smells appropriately for 120 or 130 proof. Let's see what it tastes like. Oh yeah, that one's tasty. That one is nuttier than I would have expected. It's got like a nutty wood flavor, caramel on the back end. Lot of oak actually. Not a whole lot of fruit notes on the palate. Not a whole lot of that like sawdustiness. I think that one's the most kind of generic on the palate. It has like very nondescript flavors. Initially on the palate, it's very tasty, but then like on the finish especially, it's got like something lingering that's like plum or something like that. Almost comes off like, I know I said prunes for the first one. Almost comes off like that prune note. Finish it off. It's very tasty. It has a little bit of a tingle. The finish is definitely like plum and oak. Got to get to 4, then I'll guess, rank, and reveal. On to glass D. Let's see what it smells like. This one's sweet again. It's like a vanilla cake icing bomb. Sweet powdered sugar notes. The first one was kind of like a donut. This one's kind of like just pure cake icing. Maybe like a marshmallow, like a toasted marshmallow. A little bit of chocolate on the back end. Smells, I think, probably a little bit under what the proof is. All of these have nosed not hot. Like I can get all the way in there. I can take full sniffs. They're great on that aspect. On the nose, this smells really rich, really decadent. Let's see what it tastes like. Loads of chocolate on that one. Very rich sweetness on the back end. Chocolate covered cherries. Very thick consistency. Great mouthfeel. I would put money on this being one of the 10 years. Finish this off, then we'll give you our ranks, guesses, and reveals. Last sip on that one was otherworldly. Feels like on blinds, I either pick 4 or 1. 1 and 4 were the closest. Spoiler alert, I think they're both the 10-year ones. I think that I like 4 the best. I think that is the Parker's Heritage. 1, the second best. I think that is the Old Forester President's Choice. And then I think it goes B, which is, I think, the Jack Daniels. And I think C is the Evernorth. All of these are worth buying. I think they're all above an 8.5 in my book. I think this one's a 9.5. I think this is probably a 9.25. I'd say this is a 8.75 and an 8.5. The only thing left to find out is how wrong I am. So we're going to go in reverse order this time. We're going to see what my least favorite was. That is C. Ooh, it's not that one. It's not that one. Ruh-roh. So this glass is C, which is Parker's Heritage. So that is the one that I like the least. That's already off the rails. Okay. This one is A, which is the Jack Daniels. Okay, so I did get 1 correct. 1 correct. That means that the Evernorth is in my top 2. Glass B. Okay, so the Evernorth is the first one in order. President's Choice 1, which was the Evernorth, then the Jack Daniels, and then the Parker's Lee. See, this is the fun of blinds. Like, I would have told you that I love that Parker's Heritage. And granted, I do love all of these, but the Parker's Heritage to me, I don't know why, but it fell a little flat. I think that President's Choice is phenomenal. Really glad I picked it up. It is by far and away the most expensive here, so in theory, it should be the best one. I think Evernorth is doing some great stuff. More importantly, I think Sagamore is doing some great stuff. So with this 6-year Sagamore being a competitor for 2 10-year-old whiskeys is telling you something. When Sagamore's own distillate gets to that 10-year mark, it is going to be phenomenal. I would love to hear your comments. Tell me which one you think would win. Tell me your favorite ryes. Tell me happy birthday in the comments. I will take any and all of your comments. Upcoming events on Sunday, we have Josh, the Kingpin of Smoke, on the channel. He will be our first guest for Scotch Month, so stay tuned for that. I will link the event right there. It'll be a fun time. Be sure to stop in. If you want to support the channel, we've got merch. We've got memberships here on YouTube and on Patreon. Joining either of those will get you automatic entries into any giveaways that we do on live streams. So definitely check that out. If you like this content, check out our other videos. Please like and comment on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And we hope you'll join us in drinking like a gentleman. Cheers. Also important to note, I picked the lowest proof as my top rated. So there's some interesting statistics for those of you who like to argue with me on more proof is more flavor.